Hey guys, YouTube 100 here. Alright, and now continuing with my Christmas reviews for this year. Now here I am with a review for Bad Santa. So, yeah, I have like really mixed feelings about this movie. On the one hand, I do think it is an overall, I do think it is like a good movie in a way. But in another way, I'm just really not that big on this movie. Like, I really didn't like this movie a whole lot. Yeah, it's just kind of weird. I think it's good, but I really don't like it. The reason I think it's a good movie is because it is like a well written movie. Like the acting in this movie, it is pretty good. For like the direction that this movie is taking, I do think that this is a really well acted movie. Everybody in the film, I think does pretty good. Yeah, the film has a cast like Billy Bob Thornton, Tony Cox, Lauren Graham, Brett Kelly, John Ritter, Bernie Mac, and yeah, they all do like pretty good in this movie. So I do think that this is a well acted movie, and I do think for the direction that this movie is taking, the story for it is I guess written well enough. Yeah, but the reason why I don't like this movie is just because the messages that this movie is sending, I really think it is really going overboard. I know that this movie is really geared to adults, so I guess there is a reason why it is really having these sort of messages. But for a Christmas film, I really do think that this film is really going overboard, and I really do think that this really is setting a bad example for Christmas and stuff, of how people are during Christmas and stuff, of especially with how these characters are acting. I really do think that this is kind of setting a bad example and stuff. And yeah, for a Christmas film, I just feel like this movie, the messages that this is sending, I really just think that this really isn't really that much Christmas oriented. Really, I really don't think that this really does look at a lot of other Christmas films out there. You have Home Alone movies, the Santa Claus movies, A Christmas Story, Elf, The Polar Express, and yeah, just a lot of other Christmas films like that, and even ones that I've already done. I mean, and, a lot a lot of other Christmas movies really are more family oriented. It really don't really have really dirty material like this film does. A lot of other Christmas films are really a lot more family oriented, but this one is really more adult oriented, and it has a lot of dirty material and stuff. There's sex and drinking and just drugs and uh, robberies. Yeah, this really is a real different take on a Christmas movie than we usually get. And yeah, I just felt like the messages and the elements that this movie had, it just really kind of went really overboard for me. But like I said, the acting and the story overall, it is pretty well written and stuff for the direction that this movie is taking. So yeah, I'm really not a fan of the elements of this movie and what this movie is really doing. But for what they are doing, I think it is written well enough. Yeah, this I guess the film overall did have a pretty good reaction from critics and audiences. I guess this is a film I guess this is just for type of people that really do I guess there is a group of people that actually do enjoy this kind of stuff and can really get a lot of enjoyment out of it. I guess I'm really not part of that. For the elements that this movie has, I just really don't think are really they really do go overboard, and I really am not a fan of them really much. And I just, yeah, these just, I guess this just really isn't my type of humor for it. I guess there are some people that really do think that this kind of stuff is funny, but I guess I'm just not part of that group. Yeah, the consensus on Rotten Tomatoes is says a gloriously rude and gleefully offensive black comedy. Bad Santa isn't for everyone, but Grinches will find it uproariously funny. So, yeah, like it even says, Bad Santa isn't for everyone, and I guess this film really isn't for me, really. I mean, yeah, this really isn't a Christmas film that I really like am gonna watch like every single year, and it probably isn't even one that I really will watch a lot. I mean, this was really the first time I actually had really ever watched this movie, and after seeing it now, I mean, I guess like this film really isn't that much for me, and yeah, I guess this really isn't something that I really am gonna watch all the time during Christmas. I probably won't even watch it very much at all. So, yeah, it's just like, yeah, as I said, I guess that this the humor in this movie, it just isn't for me. But yeah, like I said, I think that overall it is a well acted movie, and it does like the story that it's telling and the direction it's taken. I guess it is written well enough. So yeah, yeah. So going by the story and stuff, even the acting, I mean, yeah, for the direction it's taking, I would probably give the film, I guess, 3 stars out of 4. I mean, if it, yeah, I'm not really gonna be that biased towards it. Like I said, I'm not a fan of the elements. I mean, if I really was being biased about it, I probably would like give it less than 3 stars. I would probably like it would probably be like in the 2 star range, maybe even lower. But yeah, I'm not gonna be biased by that. Like I said, it is written well enough, and yeah, the acting is good and everything for like the story that this film is telling. So yeah, I will go by the 3 star rating. It is like I guess a well written movie. Yeah, I mean, if you can put up with this kind of stuff, then I guess this is your film. But for me, it really isn't. All right, so yeah, let me just go over the premise of this film. All right. So the film is set around like these two thieves, Willie and Marcus, and like every year during Christmas time, they like disguise. Willie is disguised as an elf, and Marcus disguised as well. Yeah, Willie is disguised as Santa, and Marcus is disguised as an elf. And like their plan is just to rob shopping malls at night and stuff. And then yeah, Marcus is like really taking his like duty as an elf seriously, and Willie he's like more of like the alcoholic who really has a really big addiction with sex. So yeah, and plus yeah he really is like really not that that big on like really appropriately performing as Santa for children and stuff. Yeah, I mean, and it shows like as they're like kids sitting on his lap and stuff. He really isn't like that bright about it. He's just like, "What do you want?" And he just sends them off. So yeah, he's like really, yeah, not really, probably like one of the worst Santas ever, probably. Yeah, and yeah, I should say like the movie is actually set here in Arizona, which yeah is interesting. Even though like this movie was filmed in California. Like they do set it here in Arizona, so yeah, our Christmas movie is set here. So yeah, I guess that's interesting. Yeah, and they end up like being hired at the well at a mall, all, and then yeah then like after Willie like made some like real vulgar remarks, like the mall manager really like really could see like the kind of person Willie was, and then he, yeah, the manager Bob Pesco, who was played by John Ritter, and this would actually be like John Ritter's last performance before he died. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The manager like just spoke to the security chief, Jin Slagle, who's played by Bernie Mac. Yeah, yeah, and he was just like warning the security chief about them. Yeah. And then eventually there's this kid, Thurman Merman, and who then like visits like Willie, and then like he was like really acting as if Willie was actually Santa, and it's shown that like Thurman is just like constantly being bullied by like these like skateboarding teenagers and stuff, and he's like he's been like beaten up by them a few times before. Yeah. And then eventually one night in a bar, Willie meets like this woman, Sue, who really has like a real big fetish for Santa Claus. And then like they start like having a real sexual relationship, and they're like having sex and stuff like in a car and stuff. Yeah, some real like adult material in this film. So yeah, I don't really recommend like showing this to any kids at all. Yeah, I really say like adults just keep this film for adults. Like, don't watch this film with any kids. Yeah, and then like eventually like Willie ended up like being like confronted by this guy from well, that was in the bar, but then like Thurman ended up like intervening and just like saved Willie from the guy. Yeah, and Willie then just gave Thurman a ride home, and then he then like went into like Thurman's house with him, and it's shown that like a Thurman is living with his like, senile grandmother, and like Thurman told Willie that his mother had died, and his dad Roger is like quote unquote exploring mountains, but it's revealed that he is actually like in jail for embezzlement, and until like the next year, and yeah, then like Willie just ended up like manipulating Thurman to let him steal from his house, as well as like his dad's BMW, which he did. Yeah, yeah, and then eventually at one point like Bob like could like hear like in a dressing room at the mall that there was like there was some sex, and then like he recognized it was Willie having sex, and then Jen started to like investigate Willie and stuff, and then it was shown that like Willie's motel room was like being waited. It didn't like that led to him like basically like starting to take advantage of like Thurman's naivety. Yeah, and then yeah, he just basically ended up like forcing himself on on Thurman and just basically like forced him into letting him stay in the house and stuff. Yeah, yeah. And at one point, then Jin like ended up like in visiting like Roger in jail, as he was like trying to investigate Willie, and then like it was then like inadvertently revealed that Willie was like staying illegally with Thurman. Yeah, and then one night, like Jen ended up confronting Willie and Marcus, and he took them both to the bar, and then like he was like telling them that he knows about their plan and stuff, and he just ended up like blackmailing them for half of their money that they make to keep silent. And Marcus was like trying to negotiate, but yeah, Jim was adamant about it, and then mm, like Willie and Marcus is like was their partnership was then like starting to falter. Her, yeah. And then like Willie then just ended up like showing up one day to work like absolutely drunk, and he just ended up destroying the Santa attraction. Well, I should also bring up there's like one part like somewhere in here, like at one point there's this scene where like Willie is like eating like his lunch in the mall, and there's this mother and her child that try to approach him to just tell him what like the boy wants for Christmas and stuff, and they just end up approaching him, and then yeah, Willie just ends up like turning, just yelling at them that he's on his lunch break, and I actually did kind of like this because yeah, I really did like how really the mother and the child really were like being kind of rude to just like basically bother him during his break, and they don't even like ask if they can talk to him for a second or anything, and like the mother was just like telling the child to just tell Santa what he wants for Christmas. So I really do like that Willie just like really didn't stand for that, and he just was basically giving them really what really they deserved for like just trying to bother him like that. that like really rudely without even asking if they can talk to him. So yeah, I actually did kind of like that scene. All right, but anyway, like going back to this part, yeah. And then at one point, like Willie then like was he like tried to commit suicide at one point by inhaling some exhaust fumes. And then like as Thurman went to see him, then Willie ended up like giving Thurman a letter for him to give the police, and it was like the confessions of like his misdeeds and the info about a heist that is he has planned with Marcus is in the mall. Well, and then like it, Willie then like noticed that Thurman had a black eye. Alright, yeah. Well, yeah, and something else also. Like Will, like Thurman at a couple of points in this film, he's like talking to Willie, like of course thinking he's Santa Claus, and he's just like he's really like being really like hard on himself, just basically calling himself a loser. And Willie actually does um, like give some motivation to Thurman at a couple of points in this film, which I really do like. I like how even though like he's really probably not a very good person, well, yeah, he is not a very good person, but yeah, he does like show him that he is kind of like having a change of heart, and he's actually trying to help Thurman and basically like give him some advice and basically trying to help him stick up for himself. So I do like that they actually like do give him some development like that, kind of like make give him a character arc in a way. How even though he's really not a good person, he really is like trying to really help Thurman that way. So I really do like how they really do make him like not completely like a total a-hole like that, and he actually does actually like have a heart like that. So I do like how they do that for him, yeah. And Willie then like noticed Thurman did have a black eye, and then that just ended up like leading to him just going after the bullies himself and beating them down and stuff. And then yeah, he just beat up the leader of the gang, and then yeah, everyone else just ended up running off, and then that led to them like stopping their bullying to Thurman. Yeah, yeah. And then at one point, like Marcus really was like really like enraged that Jen blackmailed them the way he did. And so then Marcus and his wife Lois, who's also like Marcus and Willie's accomplice, is they like put out in a trap for Jen, like to feign a jump start for their vehicle and stuff, and then like Lois then hit Jim with the car, and then yeah, Marcus then electrocuted Jin to death. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then like at one point, like as Willie and Sue were having sex again, like Thurman then just like walked in, and then he just ended up like giving a gift to Willie. It was like a wooden pickle, I think. Yeah, yeah. And then no, Willie was then like, well, not Willie. Thurman was then like talking to Willie at one point again, just saying how he would like something for Christmas. How he was talking about how he wanted a stuffed pink elephant for Christmas, and he was talking about how like still like referring to Willie as Santa. He was saying that he really didn't leave Thurman any gifts the last couple of Christmases, and he was basically just calling himself a loser. And then Willie once again then just was like giving some motivation to Thurman again, and he was actually telling them then that he's not Santa, and like Santa really doesn't exist. And Thurman just told him he knew, but he thought that uh, he and Willie could spend Christmas together since they're friends or something. I really don't know. Yeah. And then eventually, like Christmas Eve, then ended up approaching, and then with their like the plan that Willie and Marcus had almost being completed, then Willie then like went off to really get that elephant for Thurman that he wanted. And then as he does, then Marcus then just told Will, basically just then revealed that he was planning to kill Willie. Willie just after being so fed up with all that carelessness Willie has every single year. Here, yeah. And as Marcus is actually about to shoot Willie, then like the police then ended up swarming, after they were like tipped off by Willie's letter that he gave to Thurman. Yeah. And then yeah, Marcus then like opened fire at the police, and then the police were shooting at him, and then yeah, Willie ended up fleeing with the police chasing him, and then yeah, he just like was heading to Thurman's house to give him the present, and then just as he arrived at Thurman's, then like the police repeatedly shot Willie on Thurman's porch, and then it just showed he fell to the ground, but yeah, it was revealed he survived. Yeah. And then it just then like cut to like inside Willie's home, and well, not Willie's home, Thurman's home, and yeah, it was just like through like a letter from Willie to Thurman. Like he revealed that he was in the hospital recovering, and then he like had gratitude to Thurman for giving the letter to the police, and his name was actually cleared of the robbery. And then he was saying how he'll be working as a sensitivity counselor for the police. He said that like it was also like said that Sue ended up like being granted like guardianship over Thurman and his house until Thurman's father would be released from jail. Yeah. And he explained, also said that Marcus and Lois are now like behind bars for their actions and stuff. Yeah. And Willie just then ended the letter by just saying to Thurman that he'll be let out of the hospital soon, and just told Thurman to be ready for his return and stuff. And then, yeah, that's how the movie ended. So, yeah, like I said, I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of this movie, but it is, like, well written, and the acting is good, and yeah, I think it does have overall, for the direct story that it's telling, I guess, like, it's telling it well enough. So, yeah, like I said, 3 stars out of 4. I mean, yeah, not really one of my favorites, and like I said, I'm probably not really going to be watching this movie very much during Christmas time. But, yeah, like I said, the humor is probably just not meant for me. It is probably meant for, like, another type of audience. So, yeah, if this is, like, if you actually do enjoy, like, the type of story and the humor, I guess, that this movie has, then yeah, I guess that this is your film, but for me, I guess it's really not. But yeah, it's really like personal preference, really. I mean, and it really depends on whether or not you like this kind of humor. So yeah, not for everyone, but yeah, I guess like if you're curious enough, yeah, you can just check it out and draw your own conclusion whether or not this is your type of humor or not. Not so. Yeah, that's all I can really say about it. Alright, so yeah, that does for my review of Bad Santa, so I hope you guys enjoyed this review, so yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.